All right, I'm seeing nobody out in the gallery. That will conclude our public comment period. I've got a proposed consent agenda for us. That proposed consent agenda includes all items on our committee agenda except for item 1, which is RS 2025-1067, item 2, which is RS 2025-1074, and committee item 11, which is BL 2025-706. Do any additional items need to come off of consent? Vice Chair Horton.
Can I have committee item 3, RS 2025-1092, please?
All right, we will pull committee item 3, RS 2025-1092 from consent. Any other items need to come off for question, comments, discussion, anything before I read the captions? All right, so here is our proposed consent agenda, beginning with committee item 4.
Sure. We have one more.
Councilmember Evan Siegel.
Sorry, item 4.
Item 4. All right, we're also removing committee item 4. This is RS 2025-1093. Any other items? All right, and after I read the captions, if you notice something that we'd like to have removed from consent, just let me know and we'll take it off. All right, so proposed consent calendar, beginning with committee item 5. This is RS 2025-1094 by Porterfield, Parker, Gadd, and Toombs, a resolution approving amendment number 1 to a sole source agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and Vanderbilt University for partnering services for a strengthening mobility and revolutionizing transportation SMART grant from the United States Department of Transportation. Committee item 6, this is RS 2025-1095-1095 by Porterfield, Parker, and Toombs. This is a resolution approving a contract between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and Infor LLC for the provision of asset management software licensing support and maintenance. Committee item 7, this is RS 2025-1096 by Cap, Porterfield, Gamble, Barker, and Toombs. This is a resolution approving a participation agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services and Richland Building Partners to provide sanitary sewer improvements for Richland's proposed development as well as other existing properties in the area. Committee item 8, this is RS 2025-1097 by Eastlick, Gamble, and Parker. This is a resolution to amend ordinance number BL 2022-1222 to authorize the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to modify the linear feet of water and sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes to be abandoned and accepted and to update map and parcel information for now one property located at Chandler Road Unnumbered, also known as Chandler Reserve, Phase 4, Revision 1. Committee item 9, this is RS 2025-1098 by Coupin, Gamble, and Parker. This is a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept a new public sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 1523 Demonbrian Street, also known as Demonbrian Hill South. Committee item 10, this is RS 2025-1099 by Parker and Gamble, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon an existing fire hydrant assembly for property located at 800 Dickerson Pike, also known as East Nashville FSER. Committee item 12, this is BL 2025-746 by Coupin and Gamble, an ordinance authorizing MDI 3rd Avenue Nashville LLC to construct and install an underground encroachment at 311 3rd Avenue South. Committee item 13, this is BL 2025-747 by Welsh and Gamble. This is an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of alley number 1881 right-of-way between Joyner Avenue and alley 1879. Lastly, we have committee item 14. This is BL 2025-748 by Gregg and Gamble. This is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water and sanitary sewer main, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 2 properties located at 310 and 312 Donaldson Pike. Having heard the proposed consent agenda, all right, I'm seeing a motion in a second, not seeing anyone needing to pull anything else. Is there any discussion on the proposed consent agenda? All right, I'm seeing none, so we'll go to a vote. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval of the consent agenda, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, we'll return to committee item 1. This is RS 2025-1067. A resolution approving a preliminary engineering agreement between CSX Transportation, a Virginia corporation with its principal place of business in Jacksonville, Florida, and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to facilitate the replacement of an existing bridge on Eastland Avenue. And this is by Cap, Porterfield, and Gamble. Could we get a motion and a second, please? Properly moved and seconded. We don't have Councilmember Cap here. What's the best way to handle this? Can someone just move the amendment? Oh. It's my understanding we've got a housekeeping amendment. Did we get a motion in a second on this? All right, we have a committee member moving the amendment. So we've now got the amendment before us, and I will go to Director Darby for an explanation of the amendment. Oh, my apologies.
The amendment trades out the exhibit contract with a new exhibit contract. They are substantially similar. I believe the signatures have changed.
All right, so that sounds like a housekeeping amendment. Is there any further discussion on the amendment? All right, seeing none, so we'll go to a vote on the amendment. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? Recommend approval of the amendment. 11 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Could we get a motion on the resolution as amended? All right, properly moved and seconded. Any discussion on the resolution as amended? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval as amended. 11 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, up next is Committee Item 2. This is RS 2025-1074-1074 by Porterfield, Parker, Welsh, Gadd, Huffman, and Toombs. This is a resolution appropriating to certain accounts for the benefit of Metropolitan Transit Authority, Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure, Department of Information Technology Services, and the Mayor's Office in the amount of $59,300,000 in connection with the Choose How You Move Transportation Improvement Program. All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. And this is a substantial allocation, first allocation from our Choose How You Move sales tax surcharge collections. I see that we've got Steve Bland from WeGo here. We've got administration folks here. I see Mr. Briggs there. Would it be appropriate to just go to one of y'all to just contextualize this? Maybe we'll start with Michael Briggs, if that's all right with you, sir. Just let us know what's happening here and what's in this allocation. Let me get you turned on. All right, you're live, sir.
All right, thank you, Chair Parker. Happy to be before you to have this opportunity to be able to talk about funding for Choose How You Move. You'll remember that the council approved the budget, so this is a supplemental budget. Council would have approved the fiscal year ending 2025 last year. The vote to do the transit referendum was held in November, and it passed. We began collecting the tax beginning February 1st of this year. So we need to come back to you all to authorize allocation of funding that would be coming in through the tax collection between now and the end of this fiscal year of 2025. So that amount is $59.3 million. It includes $43.135 in operating and then $16.165 in capital. On the operating side, it helps fund the low-income fare subsidy program, WeGo service improvements that were announced in February and that they're currently having community input meetings on. The recently announced security upgrades with the WeGo system, and it also creates capacity within several departments, including ITS, NDOT, within the mayor's office to help with the chief program officer and leading on alignment of the program, and WeGo's operating reserve. On the capital project side, there's 11 foundational projects that mark the beginning of implementation for Choose How You Move. That includes the purchase of 12 new buses to support the increased operational levels, the Murfreesboro Pike queue jump lane, the West End curbside bus lane pilot, and I do have one correction on that, in that the announcement to the media went out indicating from 25th to 31st Avenues. It's actually from 17th to 25th Avenues. So that's where there is some on-street parking today. So that's one correction on that project. It also includes fiber installation, beginning to initiate signal upgrades and that planning of the 592 traffic signals that are upgraded across the county. A South Broadway Transit Center to support increased operations within downtown and beginning that planning process. Some street improvement projects, looking at the 39 miles of street improvements, and then a new bus operations and maintenance facility. And then finally, continuing the Main Street Gallatin Pike all access corridor phase 1, which was funded through the capital spending plan. So this begins to take it through design. So that's the overview of the program. We've got our subject matter experts, both from NDOT and WEGO here, and we also have finance here for questions.
Thank you, sir. So do we have any questions, comments, discussion from committee members on this? All right, I see Councilmember Ellis first. Councilmember Ellis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. So I want to understand two things. With the fiber installation, how are you guys prioritizing where to start on that with the smart signals?
Should we go to NDOT or, all right, we will go to, can someone from NDOT respond to that? And if you'd please introduce yourself there.
Derek Hagerty, NDOT. As far as the fiber design, we actually have an existing ITS plan that calls out priority corridors, which, as you can imagine, are our arterials. We've actually started working through that with local dollars. Currently, we're installing on Nolensville Pike. Gallatin will be the next one. We have 90% designs. This funding will get us the rest of the way. And then we're working around the county. Our hope, especially as we staff up with the operating cost, is to be able to do a lot of this work concurrently. So we're not prioritizing necessarily one corridor over the other. We're running a lot of them concurrently.
Got it. And the 39 miles of the street improvement, where is that going to start?
Looks like we've got another person from NDOT coming up. If you'd please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Justin Cole. As far as the 39 miles of street improvements, those were the 39 miles of complete streets projects identified in Choose How You Move. We have a number of those that we had already been underway on, either through our Vision Zero program or through our Bikeway program. And so those are kind of first up. And then as we continue to do more planning on the program, we'll sort of prioritize the rest of the program. But the ones that are currently underway are some projects on Chestnut and Edgehill, some planning work that's been done on East Thompson Lane, and a few others.
So just one final comment. I just want to say, and excuse my voice, I'm getting over the stuff that's going around. To the mayor's office, I'm disappointed in you guys. This is $59 million that's getting spent. And all we got was a press release saying how this was going to be spent in addition to this resolution. We've got to do better when it comes to transparency for how we're spending our taxpayer dollars.
Thank you for that. And next, I'll go to Councilmember Benedict.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask two follow-up questions. How much has been collected so far since in the past 6 weeks, or is projected to be collected?
I'll go to the administration table. If you'd please introduce yourself.
Hi there, Amanda Deaton-Moyer, the Department of Finance. We actually have not received any dollars yet. We actually receive our sales tax 2 months in arrears. We're waiting for the 20th to call to see how much that is, but we anticipate in the $11 to $12 million range per month for if you average over a period of time. But we have not yet collected those dollars because of the way the sales tax comes in.
Thanks, and I figured, right, so I buy something at the store today, and that I know that those sales tax dollars aren't provided to the government immediately, so that makes sense. I want to make sure the public understands that as well. Mr. Briggs, you mentioned the low-income mobility passes, or could you tell me what that threshold is? Because I know we've had a lot of people ask for free bus passes. And, system-wide, I don't know what that cost looks like. I know it's something you guys looked at one point, but I would love to understand and at least push out their information about the low-income mobility passes so that we can make sure the public knows. And Chair, that's all I've got.
Mr. Briggs, if you'd like to answer that, and I also, we have WeGo CEO Steve Bland here as well, who could probably speak to that.
I could probably quickly answer and would look to CEO Bland to also chime in. It will essentially, the parameters around it would be based on housing and nutrition assistance programs. So I think there's further discussion that needs to be had around how that is executed. And Steve, you may want to add additional details.
Yeah, I know the target when we were conceiving of it was to make it as simple in administration and also as easy for people who were eligible. So to Michael's point, we would be looking to their eligibility for other programs that are administered through social services, MDHA, what have you. So part of the startup process will be to convene a working group of those agencies and the advocacy groups to kind of develop the detailed program parameters. And would certainly welcome any council input on that.
I have a follow-up, but I see Councilmember Benedict might have a follow-up. If we can stay on the low-income fare pass for now, is your follow-up related to that?
It is.
You're recognized.
Thank you. When do we expect that to be available?
Should not really take very long to deploy once the partners develop what the program is, because essentially we'll continue to use our quick ticket platform. So eligible folks will just be enrolled in have an account under quick ticket that lets them avail themselves of that for no charge.
And I know I can't necessarily pin you down to a certain date, but is that time frame looking like 30 days, 6 months?
We should easily be able to do it within 30 to 60 days of, everybody kind of coming to consensus to whatever programs, would deem the eligibility. So, and I think the goal is to get that group together within the next few weeks.
That'd be great. The sooner the better, of course. Thank you.
It would be difficult to conceive that it would go beyond the start of the fiscal year.
Great. Thank you. And thank you, Chair.
Absolutely. Mr. Bland, if I could ask, using eligibility for other programs as a basis, I think I understand that, but I do want to understand, is it that we would look to see that folks are already enrolled in other programs, or is it that we would look to those programs to craft the eligibility parameters?
Most cities that have done this, when it's administered through the transit agency, they're just looking for some documentation of eligibility for other programs. So if you're able to show documentation of eligibility for something under MDHA or social services, SNAP, those types of things, that's the simplest way to administer. But again, we're not the experts in income determination, so we'd be looking to the social services sector to let us know what the best way to do this, again, in a way that keeps it simple for applicants as well as the agencies and WeGo for that matter.
And will there be any opportunity to kind of preview the program and the parameters and provide input?
Oh, sure. We'll have to run this. Michael mentioned that we're in public comment now, so anything we do with our fare and service programs, we have to run through a Title VI lens. So, once there's a draft program put together, it would go through a similar process.
And then the kind of decision-making authority on this would be the WeGo board, is that correct?
Yes, but hopefully you all kind of recognize that our board works in concert with the council and the mayor's office too.
Absolutely.
So if there's if there's a take from the council, we would love to hear it.
Thank you. We may ask that to have a further update on this as we get closer to a policy that we can review, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions from council members about the appropriation before us? I had a couple of questions. I think this would be for Mr. Haggerty with NDOT. I was just curious, the fiber network that we're building out, is that going to be primarily on NES poles above ground, or is it going to be a mix of things? Like where is that physical infrastructure going to be located?
Good question. It's really going to be a combination, especially as we start downtown. You'll see mostly buried underground conduit. We will jump up to poles initially as we build out our all-access corridors, which we know are a little further down the line. we'll be burying conduit at that time, moving the fiber down. So initially, you'll see a little more aerial as we advance through Choose How You Move. A good portion of that's going to shift to underground.
And on the buried conduit, are we contemplating a little bit of elbow room in case we wanted to lease that space out to private utilities in the future? Or are we gonna plan for potential other things to live? Because I know fiber you can run a lot of fiber in a bundle without causing any kind of electromagnetic. That's one of the big advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to give ourselves a little extra room to work so that we're future-proofing whatever comes next. As far as leasing it out to private entities, I'd have to refer you to Metro ITS for that.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions, comments, discussion on the appropriations resolution before us? All right, Councilmember Ellis, you're recognized.
Hey, so I wanted to understand the capacity building that the money is allowing for. Just a broad answer, why is that needed outside of NDOT?
It's my understanding that ITS is kind of leading the charge on the fiber network build out, but my guess would be that NDOT crews are kind of overseeing the right-of-way work and the parameters of installation. This is something that when you install conduit, you often, in residential applications and commercial applications, will not size it specifically to the conductors you need to fit in there for sure, but you size it to fit what you might need to run through it in the future as well. It kind of a dig once, cry once approach.
Yeah, the resolution read as if there was 3 new positions being created.
Oh, you mean the capacity within ITS? 276,000 for ITS. Do we have anybody from ITS here who could speak to the ITS staffing capacity? Yes, sir. If you'd please introduce yourself.
John Grippy, Metro CIO. As far as the requested capacity, this is to cover 4 months to bring additional staffing on to handle the project load that is currently being handled by Central ITS. So that's in areas of network architecture, security architecture, the fiber plant, also project management. Currently, the people handling those are very well tasked. So about 60%, 70% of their time is being handled around these transportation initiatives. It's drawing them away from other work for other general government departments and agencies. We just need to staff up from a capacity standpoint.
And just to follow up, so will these positions be solely for Choose How You Move, or they would potentially help oversee the installation of the LPRs once we get that contract?
Right now, these positions are slated probably 95% of their time is going to be around Choose How You Move initiatives.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, sir. All right, any further questions, comments, discussion on the resolution before us? We're getting close to our designated time here, I believe. All right, seeing none, so we will go to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval. Do we still have 11? Okay. Recommend approval 11 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right, next, not on consent, we have committee item 3. This is RS 2025-1092, a resolution approving a preliminary engineering agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and CSX Transportation, a Virginia corporation with its principal place of business in Jacksonville, Florida, to facilitate the development of sidewalk improvements adjacent to CSX rail at Alabama Avenue. And this is by Porterfield, Parker, Gamble, and Toombs. Can we get a motion on this, please? All right, properly moved and seconded. Vice Chair Horton, you're recognized for discussion or questions.
Thank you, Chair. I don't want to slow us down too much on this. Just about a couple quick questions for NDOT on this. I think first, if they may be able to confirm if this is for purposes of constructing the quote-unquote secret sidewalk connecting Sylvan Park and the Nations, something I know we're all very excited about, both in Districts 20 and 24. And if so, if they could provide a estimated timeline for construction, and if there's plans to include lighting on the portion of the pathway traversing under the bridge.
Thank you. We'll go to Matt Purvis with NDOT.
Yes, Matt Purvis, NDOT, Council Liaison. It is the quote-unquote secret sidewalk project, or at least, at the very least, part of it. I think it's the whole of the secret sidewalk project. But right now, we're at currently 60% design, working towards 90% design, as well as coordinating right-of-way, obviously with CSX, as evidenced by this resolution. And regarding lighting, that is part of the discussion now, either working it into the current project to, I think it's to put it on the sidewalk opposite side from the fence, if that makes sense. But also there's a concurrent tactical urbanism project for the area that we're working with Civic Design Center on that design for, to see between the two of us, see what we can do as far as lighting for the area. Oh, and construction about 3 to 5 months out is what we're thinking.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. And thank you to NDOT for this. This is a really cool project for both Councilmember Gad and I's district. So very excited for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other discussion, questions on Committee Item 3, RS 2025-1092? All right, seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval, 11 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting. Next, we have Committee Item 4. This is RS 2025-1093-1093 by Porterfield, Parker, Welsh, Huffman, and Toombs. It's a resolution approving Amendment 1 to a grant agreement between the United States Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure for a strengthening mobility and revolutionizing transportation SMART grant to install LiDAR and video camera technologies at key intersections and mid-block segments for near-miss data collection. Can we get a motion on this, please? Properly moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, discussions? Councilmember Evans Siegel, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pretty sure I know what this is for, and I think it's pretty interesting, but if the department could just explain it in like plain English for people, I think that'd be helpful.
All right, we'll go again to Matt Purvis from NDOT.
Howdy. Yes, the contract extension is to give us more time due to the delays made by the federal federal fund freezes from the executive orders.
All right. That's all.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval, 11 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting. All right, I believe this is our last item that was not on consent. Committee Item 11, this is BL 2025-706 by Toombs, Porterfield, Gad, Gamble, Parker, Welsh, and Allen. This is an ordinance approving 2 greenway conservation easements between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation and Rogers Group Incorporated for greenway improvements at 0 Glenwood Drive. Can we get a motion and a second, please? All right, properly moved and seconded. All right, the amendment has been moved and seconded. I will ask that Director Darby give us an explanation of the amendment, please.
This is an amendment that adds the second conservation easement that was inadvertently left off of the bill when it was initially filed.
All right, any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote on the amendment. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, 11 in favor of the amendment, and we've got the bill as amended before us. Any discussion, questions, comments on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, recommend approval of the bill as amended, 11 in favor, 0 against. And very quickly, I just wanted to note, I believe it's next Monday at 4 o'clock. We're going to have a meeting of the Planning and Zoning Committee, the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, to hear recommendations from the planning staff as a result of the Housing and Infrastructure Committee meeting. So I'm triple checking my calendar quickly here. Yes, 4 o'clock here in the chamber on March 24th. So please attend that meeting if you're able. And then at the next regularly scheduled Transportation and Infrastructure Committee meeting, we're going to have the Choose How You Move team here to talk us through where we're at with the rollout of the whole thing, not just this appropriations bill that we've had before us today, but we'll get to hear updates and ask questions of that team. So please look forward to those 2 meetings, and thanks everybody for being here today.